Good morning, everyone, and welcome to JEG Marketplace Ministries once again. It is a privilege and an honor to be able to share with you this first Sunday in the new year. Um, I'm going to begin a series this month, and it will go however long it needs to go. Um, but I want to talk about, so often at the end of the year, um, people come up with these resolutions and things that they're going to do for the rest of the year, so forth and so on. And as I'm sitting back and I'm watching and observing what's going on in our world, in our communities, um, in our families, in our personal lives, I realize that there is a need for us to um, be honest about what's going on, that we need to take the time to slow down and realistically look at ourselves, look at our community, look at our world, and acknowledge and recognize that some changes need to be made. There are some things that are negatively impacting all of us, and we have got to be honest about that. So let's stop pretending that we don't see, hear, and feel what we know we see, hear, and feel. Okay. And so I resolved, and I'm asking you to resolve this with me. One of the things, as I was growing up in church, um, at this time of year, we would often hear preachers talk about taking over our territory and claiming our territory. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable here. Claiming our territory and, taking over our territory or whatever. And so as I was thinking about that for this year, I said there's a couple of things that have to be involved in taking over your territory. And one of them is that you have to first know your territory. You have to understand what exactly is going on in your territory, identify the specific needs of your territory, and do what you can to meet those needs. In the book of Nehemiah, and we start at the very beginning and read the entire book, really. But in the second chapter of Nehemiah, Nehemiah was informed that the city that he loved so much um, had been desecrated. The walls had been torn down. Things had been set on fire. It was people were distraught. And so he immediately, the Bible says he cried and he wept about the condition of this place that he loved. And he immediately set about to see what he could do to make things better. And so this is my resolution for this year. And I want you to join me in this resolution to take it back and make it better, whether it's your family, it's your home, your community, your church, um, your business, whatever it is that you're facing some challenges with or that you see there are some needs for some changes. I encourage you to join with me in um, taking it back and making it better. I was thinking about the story of Nehemiah. And as we go further in this particular series, we will talk about that more. But the focus I want you to carry with you is about the territory. Take the time to really see the specific needs that need to be addressed. A lot of times we see politicians and spiritual leaders and people, on television, on the news, in front of a microphone, on a stage, talking about all this stuff that they're going to do to fix X, Y, and Z. But we don't often see a plan and a strategy. And then in too many cases, the needs are named, but the cause of the problem is not mentioned or addressed. And so as we are declaring this year to take back our territories, as I said, whether it's personal, business, ministry, family, whatever, we are resolving. This is our resolution that we're going to take it back and make it better. I was thinking about also, I come from a family of trailblazers. Like I come from, my lineage is full of people who created their own paths. And specifically, as I was studying and began studying about taking over my territory and making it better, I thought about my dad. My father was a trailblazer. Many people say he was a man before his time. And as I got older, I understood that that meant that he had ideas and he had a vision for things that people were not yet ready for. But that didn't stop him. And some of you know, and some of you don't know, that my father was a pastor in a organization. And yes, he was, Charlene, a trailblazer with no apologies. He didn't apologize for what he did or what he said or how he felt or what have you. But he was a part of an organization that had been established for many, many years. And he joined that organization basically because that's the organization my mom grew up in. And my dad did not grow up in church like my mom did. He went to church sometimes as a child, but it wasn't the church like, 7 days a week, like most holiness churches. So he didn't have that foundation. He didn't have that obligation to be a part of an organization that was not supporting him. And so he shared with us that he was often told, they give you a booklet for the year, they tell you, what sermon topics to preach, what you're supposed to teach in your Sunday school and Bible study classes and all that. And if you knew James Green at all, he, wasn't going to do that for very long. So as a trailblazer, as a visionary, he left that particular organization and founded the Salisbury Revival Center. It was during that time that the people in our local area recognized that this was a man with a vision, with a dream, with focus that could not be deterred by what other people were doing. I remember we were often made fun of or talked about because we were doing things in our church growing up that a lot of the quote black unquote churches in our area were not doing yet. And so we would be teased about, even certain songs that my mom would sing, they would tease us about trying to sound like the white churches and, foolishness like that. When it came to preaching and teaching, my dad was determined and adamant that he was going to preach and to teach what he felt was needed and what was necessary, because he saw a need and he was determined to meet those needs. And so as I create and move forward with this marketplace ministry, I was having a moment earlier this week when I was questioning some things because I wasn't really sure that people were hearing me and understanding what I was trying to do here. And then I thought about my dad, and I dreamed about my dad, and I saw my dad in a building preaching, and I started having memories of sermons that he preached and his wisdom. Sometimes just in casual conversation, people have said that he has made statements that literally changed the trajectory of their lives. And when he said it, it may not have sounded like a big deal to him, but it literally was changing people's lives. And so I come from that. That is my root. That is where what is inside of me. And so as I trailblaze and as I move forward with this ministry, I needed to be reminded. Good morning, cousin Alfred. I needed to be reminded of my roots. Okay, I come from not just my dad, but I come from a family, even on my mother's side, full of people who started ministries when people thought that they should not. I had an aunt, her name was Peggy Palmer Mary, and she pushed me and nudged me into ministry to go forward and do what I felt called to do, even from childhood. And so as I come today with this marketplace ministry, it was started because I recognize, and I know so many people personally, including myself, who had become frustrated and just exhausted with religiosity, with organized religion that has no power to change lives. We spend more time telling people how to dress and how to look and how to worship and what they should and should not be doing in their churches than we do giving people practical information from spiritual concepts that will help people to live a prosperous life. And so this is what I have been called to do. I can't speak for anybody else. But my assignment is in the marketplace to minister to people who may not even have a relationship with God. Once again, um, my grandson is here, and he's a part of the marketplace ministry. He need to be warmed up. So he's part of the ministry. So let's keep him in prayer as he's going through this morning, as you can hear. But yes, I come from family of trailblazers and visionaries and establishmentarians. And so this is what I'm doing here today. And so it is important for me as we move forward that we recognize the territory in which we live, recognize the needs that are specific to our territory, and do what we can to meet those needs. So as we go on with this teaching about taking it back and making it better, we will identify some needs that must be met. But in general, I want to encourage you today to look around you and be honest about what needs that you see that can be met and do what you can do. You don't have to have a license. You don't have to have a spiritual title. You don't have to have a church building in order to meet the needs and to minister to people. I say this all the time. Jesus did not have a church building that he told people to come to every Sunday. He went out into the marketplace. His pulpit was the marketplace. And sometimes we get so caught up in regurgitating the same sermons to each other over and over again, singing to each other over and over again, that we lose sight on the fact that there is a world out there where people are dying. People are looking okay and committing suicide. People are walking around with cancers and diseases in their body and don't even know it. But they need to know that somebody cares and somebody's praying for them. And so, as I said at the beginning, we're going to be talking about Nehemiah a little more, and how he recognized the need to rebuild the walls, to restore the gates, and he was spiritually broken, emotionally broken because of what he was seeing. And that's where I am today. I talk to so many people who say, I don't go to church because of XYZ. And yet I know people, always can say, well, people go everywhere else they want to go. Well, we're not talking about everywhere else. We're talking about the church house. And so there are certain things that you should anticipate that you receive when you come into what is called the house of God, that you don't find in Walmart and all these other places that, people sarcastically mention. But I want to provide a place where people can learn that God loves them, that God cares about everything that you care about, every aspect of your life. God is concerned about that, and do what I can to meet those needs. So as I said, as we're going forward, we're going to take back our territories and we're going to make it better. We're going to resolve to use all of our gifts, our talents, our finances, whatever we have, to be the best version of what God wanted us to be. So this week, I want you to take the time to sit down, read the book of Nehemiah, make notes of your particular territory, your particular area, the area that you can be useful in, the area that you can impact, and make a list of your concerns and the things and the needs that you see. Because I know that we've been called to see a need and meet a need. And it is imperative that we join together and do that. I was thinking about the scripture earlier today where Jesus was talking about feeding the hungry and visiting the sick and visiting those in prison and things like that. And the disciples, Jesus was saying, when I was sick, you didn't visit me. When I was in prison, when I was sick, and the disciples, being carnal, were like, when were you all these things? I never saw you sick. I never saw you hungry. I never saw you in jail. And Jesus said, when you do these things to the least of them, when you do these things for other people, you're doing them for me. So we're not interested in hearing about how many members you have in your church and how your church is growing by leaps and bounds if you are not impacting your community. That's what we're about, the marketplace, impact and change in the marketplace. And so we also want to make sure, make it clear to you that as we're formulating plans and things that we want to do to be able to help people, we need your help. All right. It never fails. And I've seen this ever since I was a child, so I'm not surprised. But people always wince, get disturbed when you talk about money when it comes to ministry or anything to do with the church. But we give money to everything else that we want to do. If we want to gamble, if we want to, we're into purses, we're into tennis shoes, we're into jewelry, whatever we're into, we don't hesitate to spend the money for it. But when it comes to ministry, people have always had an issue with ministries asking for money. I'm not really clear on, how they expect stuff to get paid, but I know growing up in a house with two preachers, two pastors, who were always so concerned that people not see them as money hungry preachers, that they wouldn't even hardly ask for money. And just about everything they did, they took from themselves and from their family. And I saw how that weighed on them to their very last breath. And I am convinced that if you're going to be a part, you're going to benefit from the marketplace ministry, I think it's only right that you should seed into the marketplace ministry. This week, I saw at least 3 situations where there was a mother sleeping in the car with her children for a couple of weeks. And then I saw someone else who needed some money. They had been blessed with a place, but they were short some money and they were asking for help. And just so many things like that, people that are hungry. The government is cutting off benefits and so forth and so on. And my heart hurts because I want to be able to give to people in situations like that. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not trying to buy diamonds and furs. I'm trying to help people in the marketplace, and I need you to help me. Last week I mentioned, and I want to talk about this every week if I have to, about the importance of planting seeds. Because when you plant seeds in a ground, you can anticipate a harvest. I need you to plant seeds into JEG Marketplace Ministries. I need you to help me to help other people. When a mother says to me, I appreciate all that you do for a mother's cry and how whatever. And then she proceeds to tell me how her children need clothes and her children need, it bothers me because yes, I like to be there to talk with the mothers, to let them know that they're loved, to let them know that they're not the only ones battling with the impact of mass incarceration. But sometimes you need money. You know, if a person comes to you, and my mom and dad used to say this years ago, if a person comes to you and they say, I'm hungry, can you give me money to get a sandwich? They don't need a prayer, okay? They need some food. And we don't want to be a part of those group of people that automatically say, I'll be praying for you, or I'll pray that God sends somebody. He did send somebody, he sent you. Okay. And so I need you to help me so that I can help other people. I need you to give a seed into the ministry. I need some of you to partner with the ministry on a consistent basis, whether it's weekly or monthly or whatever, so that we can meet the needs of people in our communities, in the marketplace. That's what we're here for. We have enough people just, quoting scriptures. We see that every day, all day, on Facebook and any other social media platform. We see enough people quoting scriptures. We see enough people talking about other preachers. We see enough people bashing and analyzing other people's type of ministries. That's not what we're here for. We're here to provide a resource in the marketplace to remind people that they are loved, that they are special, that they were created with purpose, and to meet whatever material needs that we can meet. So today, I need you to plant a seed in this ground. This is good ground. And you can do so, that I believe the Cash App information, the Zelle information are in the comments, and PayPal is also the same email as the Zelle. So whatever you can give to help us to help somebody this week would be greatly appreciated. There are other things that I want to do with regard to Marketplace Ministry. I am not, and I say this all the time, and people laugh, but I'm serious. I am technologically illiterate, okay? So I want to bring in somebody to help me figure out how to do some other things with regard to our Sunday morning gathering. And you have to pay people, and it costs money to do stuff. We need another microphone. We need lighting. So yeah, we need some money to do these things, okay? And so today, I want you to sow a seed, whether it be $5, $10, $20, $100, whatever you feel led. But I would like for you to try to at least sow the $20.24 that represents this new year of 2024. And as you plant that seed, remember this: the whole purpose of a seed is potential for a new plant or a new piece of fruit or whatever it is. The whole purpose of planting a seed is for reproduction and growth. That's why I need you to seed into the Marketplace Ministry today, to help us to grow, to help us to help other people. When somebody reaches out to me and says, Reverend Green or Jamie, whatever they call me, I need formula for my baby. I need diapers for my baby. Can you help me? I want to be able to say, yes, here's some money to take care of that. And I need you to help me do that. All right. We You know, I don't bash people for sending money, excuse me, sending money to other preachers online. You know, like you hear people say sometimes, y'all won't give to your local church, but you'll send money way across the country to somebody you've never seen. Well, you know, it's been my experience that sometimes the person way across country that I've never seen has poured into my spirit, and done something for me and helped me to catapult to another level that my local church didn't do. So you know, whatever you do with your money, that's on you. I'm just asking that you will support us financially, spiritually, whatever way you can be a blessing to the Marketplace Ministry. I sincerely appreciate you. I want every one of you to know that you are special, that you are loved, that you have unique gifts and you have unique talents. You were created as an individual. Even if you are a twin, you're still an individual. And I'm here as a part of my assignment to encourage you to recognize the uniqueness that you were created with and to help you to bring that out so that you can live the life that you were predestined to live. All right. The Bible talks about abundant living. It talks about success. You know, whatever bit of ground that the sole of your feet touch is what God told Joshua, which implies what? It implies movement. All right. He didn't say to Joshua, as long as you just sit in that one spot doing nothing, I'm going to bless it. Because what is there to bless? You're not doing anything. So as we're moving forward with this marketplace ministry, we're in motion. We may be moving slow, but we're in motion and we need your support. Okay. I'd like to remind you also, if you have any special prayer requests this week, feel free to inbox me or put them in the comments, whatever you feel comfortable doing. I promise you, when I say I'm going to pray, I pray. As I don't take that lightly. And it's not, you know, a gimmick for me. When people say they need help, they need prayer, that's what I want to do. All right. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. Let us study the book of Nehemiah. Let's take back our territories and make it better. All right. Whatever area that you're struggling in, let's give it over to God and let's take back the authority that we were given. And you don't have to have a title to have authority. You just have to have a relationship with your creator. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please keep me in your prayers today as I continue to try to move forward with ministry in so many different ways. I just want to leave a legacy that people will say, she helped somebody. That's really what I want to do. One of my father's favorite songs was include the sentence, if I could help somebody as I pass along, then my living should not be in vain. That's my heart's desire today. Thank you so much for joining me, each and every one of you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I look forward to hearing from you guys with your donations, your seeds, and your prayers. All right. You guys have a great day. Peace of God be with you. Goodbye.